Well, no discussion about printing would be complete without a discussion about printers.
Yeah.
And it's been, what, 4 years since our last camera to print tutorial. And there have
changed.
Yeah, there have been some developments. So now in mid-2011, let's discuss where we are. There are still 3 major companies: Epson, Canon, and HP.
Yep.
Epson, I would say, fair to say, is still the dominant player. Canon has come on strong. They have some, very strong offerings. HP kind of has gone a little quiet.
Yeah. There's some speculation, we don't know, but it seems like HP, the mothership, the corporation, has kind of gotten away from the fine art printing and photo printing market. They do the Indigo printer for graphic arts, and that seems to be where a lot of the attention is going. So one thing that we should note is that when we last did the camera to print, we were in your gallery, and we had basically we had an 1100, 11880, an HP Z series, and a Canon IPF series. We're here now, and
well, what we have is I have the Epson 7900, which is their latest generation of wide format printer. The next one up is the 9900. So this is a 24-inch. You've got the other one, which is a 44-inch. We also have, not on camera at the moment, but I have the Epson 3880, which is their 17-inch. Won't take a roll, but it's a desktop paper, 17-inch. That's really the next generation from the 3800, which was prior to that. Which
is a solid little printer.
Great printer. That's my bread and butter printer. Then there is this new one, which is the R3000, and it is the latest 13-inch.
And just for clarification, at some point when we did the installation, I thought that it might be actually in the Pro line. No, it's in the prosumer line. So it's not a Pro, it is a Pro level printer, but not from the Pro division of Epson.
These things can get confusing.
Yes.
But it's turning out, just from the little bit of work that we've done, this is turning out to be a great printer. So this is the latest and greatest desktop printer. What's interesting is the R3000 is a 13-inch versus the 3880, which is a 17-inch. Yet this will take roll paper, whereas the 3880 won't, so go figure.
The other kind of big desktop printer, and I've got one at home, it's still on the pallet because I haven't figured out where to put it, is the 4900.
4900, which is, again, Epson's largest desktop.
Yes.
Well, if you will. It takes a big desktop.
Yes, huge.
Right. Then behind me over here is Canon's desktop printer, the Pro9500 Mark II. Very nice printer. What needs to be mentioned about these is number of inks, number of blacks, number of grays, which is kind of interesting. The Epson R3000 has 5 color inks, 2 grays, and 2 blacks. And the blacks are, you either print with the photo black or the matte black.
Yeah, to be accurate, it doesn't have grays. It's got light black and light black.
Those aren't gray?
Yeah, they're gray, but
the Canon has 7 colors, 1 gray, they call it gray, and 2 blacks. And again, it's a photo black and a matte black, and you're only using one at a time.
But the Canon also has some of the intermediary colors, like red, and is there a green?
I'm not sure. Let's open it up and see. You open the lid and it will do a little dance, and then we'll be able to see. Pale magenta, pale black, photo black, matte black, PC, which is, I guess,
pale cyan.
Pale cyan. There's a gray, a magenta, a yellow, a cyan, a green, and a red.
So the green and the red are the auxiliary colors for total volume of color.
Yeah. Okay, so these are the desktop printers. And one can debate endlessly the pros and cons of Epson versus Canon versus HP. And so I think one of the things we want to do is make a couple of prints.
Let's have a shootout.
Okay. What we're going to print is a shot that I took recently on a trip to Utah, and this was in Arches National Park, and it was shot with the brand new Phase One IQ180, an 80 megapixel camera back for the Phase camera, or the Alpa. In this case, I shot it on an Alpa with an Apo Schneider lens. It's a pretty incredible file. Now, at this size, and I've got this now set up for 13 by 19 paper, which is the biggest size that these printers will take.
And you're going to print on your Canson paper?
And I'm printing on Canson Baryta Photographique, which again is my current favorite paper. And I should just mention that the Ilford Gold Fiber Silk is a very, very similar paper. They're almost identical. I just like the Canson just a little bit more. So anyhow, it's, but I buy whichever one happens to be available. And I have separate profiles for each, but they're so close. And speaking of profiles, I should point out that what we've done just prior to doing this demonstration is Shootout. Because the R3000 is a brand new printer and Canson doesn't yet have a profile available, I created one. And the Canon profile I downloaded from the Canson website. So they're both good profiles. One of them's a custom profile, the other one's a good canned profile. So we'll see what the end result is. Now this frame coming out at roughly 11 by 15, its native resolution is 670 ppi.
I don't think we'd see any benefit
going to 720.
Upsampling.
No.
Or downsampling up to 720 or down to 600.
Right.
It's kind of splitting the difference.
And I have made a 24 by 36 of this with my 7900. Just stunning print. So let's make a print on both of these printers and see what we get, and then we'll go over to the Lightbox and have a look at them.
Okay.
Okay, so here is my template that I created for the Epson R3000 with the Canson paper, 5700 ppi, which is their new high-res print setting. So let's go ahead and hit print here. Now let's send it to the Canon, and so I'll go to my preset for the Canon. I don't know why, but you notice that tiny little boom just changes very slightly. Yeah, PPI stays the same, size stays the same. Something in the driver, just minutely different. So now we'll send it to the Canon.
And notice the ease, since you've made the templates, you don't even have to mess around with page setup or print settings.
Nada. Again, this is one of the reasons why I love printing out of Lightroom. Just once you've created a preset for your paper size, your paper type, your profile, the margin settings, everything, it's as easy as using a RIP used to be. You know, just go to the template, hit print. As a matter of fact, don't even have to hit print. You can hit print 1, you know, which is all that's needed. Don't even get the dialog box then. And so once these have come off the printers, let's let them dry down a bit and go have a look at them on the Lightbox.
Okay. You know, I really must say you're very peachy today.
Thank you. You know, I figure we've been sitting here for days shooting this.
Literally days.
Literally days. And I got tired of wearing a black t-shirt and my beige sweater. Also, the lights have made the studio warm. So I decided to be a little bit summery.
And I'm actually in my normal work uniform, which is a black t-shirt.
Right. You don't have an 18% gray t-shirt?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
No.
Let's get the prints up on the board.
Okay. I went ahead and put up the prints, Michael, from the R3000 and the 9500 Pro Mark II. Can you tell which is which?
You're not going to give me a hint?
No.
Okay.
I think you'll be able to see.
Yeah. No, I can, but let me preface this by saying there's only one thing that lets me see the difference, and that is this is the Epson. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. And the reason is there is just a little bit more saturation in the warm tones, in the reds. And
we're viewing this under a standard light. This is a GTI D50?
D50.
D50. And what you can see under this standard illumination is the fact that even within the constraints of video, they are very, very close.
Oh, they're so close that I'm really hard-pressed to tell the difference. First of all, let me say this, that when we took them out of the printer, and this was yesterday when we took, because you know the way these films are shot, they're disjointed. But the reality is, when we took them out of the printer, the one from the Canon looked quite different than it does now.
Yeah.
The Epson has hardly changed at all, but the Canon did dry down quite a bit.
Well, the Epson, the biggest change is in the first 20 minutes. And with the Canon, really the biggest change was in the first couple hours. You thought, well, wow, the colors were off, and then we went away and did something else, came back, and then it was like, whoa,
what happened?
They've dried down to be very, very close. Not identical.
Not identical.
Now, also to point out that, Michael, this was the Canson profile that you made on camera.
Right.
This was the Canson profile that you downloaded from the website.
Right.
So it's a good generic, but that's a custom, and that may actually have an impact on the subtleties. You might be able to do a better job of creating a profile than Canson.
I might, but I have to say, and notwithstanding what this may look like on camera, these are so close in terms of color and saturation and everything that it's a quibble. It really is a quibble. And in terms of resolution, every other aspect, I mean, even looking with the loop, I can't see any difference. I really can't. They're so close. What do you think?
I'm looking at that one. I would say that on a pixel peeping level, that only, geeks like us would do. The difference with the 720, now this was output at, I think, 670 PPI.
Right.
So the effective resolution here is 600, the effective is 720. In the grand scheme of things, I'd say the Epson edges out the Canon by a hair in terms of...
Not to the naked eye, though.
Not to the naked eye.
Yeah. So anyhow, I wouldn't choose one printer over the other for any reason of quality of output.
You do like the Epson because it's got built-in Wi-Fi.
I haven't tried it yet.
No. And you did like the Canon because it was so darn quiet.
Yeah. Those are two advantages. And I don't know that I'll ever use the Wi-Fi. But what I did like on the Epson was the color LCD that shows you the ink levels. That's kind of cool.
And the install process for the driver was very easy.
Total
it was kind of,
yeah.
A little bit more curmudgeonly with the Canon.
Yeah. Anyhow, they're both really fine printers. These prints are so close that I wouldn't put money on which is which.
And I think that's where we're at with the state of the art for fine art printing. Quite honestly, the big three. It's not necessarily the quality of the output that will be the determining factor of which one you choose. It might be, which one has a dealer nearby, which one has, the kind of third-party support, a lot of different things made for Epson as a platform that Canon and HP don't have. So I'm seriously not directing people one to the other. I have an affinity and a relationship with Epson. But that's, I've got the printer, I might as well use it.
Fair enough.